Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Oh yeah, testicles 1-2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host, and I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. An amazing episode lined up. I want to remind you that the most important thing for the show today that you can do is word of mouth. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. Tell your ugly stepmom, your auntie, your cousin, your coworkers, and your colleagues. Classmates about the show. If they are weird, get weird with us and get weird with them. This is the best show with the best content for the best listeners. Check us out and check out the affiliations at paranoidradio.com. And do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Woo! All right, we got out of that. We got to freak the promotion, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the mood. Today, we are bringing a brand new podcaster. And guys, I have a whole intro for him. Bennett Tanton. He is the co-founder and vice president of Battle Sight Technologies and currently serves and manufactures base team in Montana. You know what? I chopped that up. I'm going to go very basic on this, bro. Please give a warm welcome to Broadcasting Seeds podcast host. He is a veteran. He is one. He is setting a trend. He is a patriot. Dude, I want to thank you for your service and also thank you for being here. Bennett, how are you?
Absolutely.
I was not gonna make
awesome,
it.
brother. Awesome. I love it.
I'm sorry. I had to pick that
No,
up.
I'm never sending that freaking thing out again. That's ridiculous.
No, it's good. It's good because there's people that actually take the time to be more professional than I am.
I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah, bro. How are you, bro? Thank you for being here.
Good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on, man. This is fun.
It is.
It always is.
We do have a lot of comedic relief, and because of the dark topics that we talk about and the stuff that I have to consume on a daily basis, and then bring it out for the audience, it's kind of like it gets dark and almost hopeless.
Yeah,
very fast.
Right. You're right.
So
you're very right. I'm that white Shure mic is tight, bro. I had to say, I've never seen the white one.
MV7 white edition.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you, bro. Yo, where can people find you?
So the podcast is I can't even say it myself. Broadcasting Seeds podcast, broadcastingseeds.com, all the socials, all the things, YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. But what I don't know for how long, but we'll see. And yeah, all the places, man, everywhere.
I had to snap a pic for the gram because I got to put it to promote later on. I hope you don't mind.
Sure, always.
Great stuff. I love what you're doing out there. I love what you're doing on Instagram. Everybody, make sure you take some time. I always say this on the show. You guys are busy looking at ass on TikTok, going on TikTok University to get all your information, but you guys can't take 5 seconds of your freaking day to go to the search bar and search our Broadcasting Seeds. Who are you? Wake up already, dude. Check this guy out on Instagram. Give some likes, engage with him, ask some questions. In fact, I have a question for you.
Yeah, man.
I seen this post on your Instagram, which is what really grabbed my attention, and I wanna put it up right now and ask you about it. Dude, you got to give me an introduction information on what the show is about, what is it that you do, and then we're gonna jump on the Siege of Hanobia. Am I pronouncing that right?
Oh, the Siege of Hanobia. Yeah, man. Let's see. So, all right. So it's very much like this in a lot of, it's a high strangeness podcast. I don't discriminate. I don't put myself in a niche or a genre per se, because I love history. I love cryptids. I love paranormal. I love UFOs. I love all that shit. So like, my gateway, I'll say it, my gateway to this whole world was Bigfoot. So
Yes.
I had a experience when I was young. I've had 3 different Bigfoot encounters. I've had a few paranormal stuff, and that's what got me into this whole thing. I was obsessed also. I am a product of my time. Uh, and I used to listen to Coast AM
Mm.
religiously. And a lot of people don't even know what that is anymore. But it's
Word.
still around, obviously, George Norrie and those folks. But that was like the gateway, man, and I've been hooked ever since. Period. Uh,
Yeah.
with all the things, and I can't. I tried to just do Bigfoot, and it doesn't work. Not for
Ha.
me. I'm
It's
too.
impossible.
It's impossible, man. So I just branched out. Now I do have another podcast that is just Bigfoot,
Mm,
called Whispers of the Wood Ape, and that is just
mm,
kind of coming online. But it's on another network called CARC,
mm.
which is the Catskills Allegheny Research Collective,
Mhm.
and that's on YouTube. Um,
Awesome stuff.
So that is where I get my Bigfoot fix, but I can't keep it out of big broadcasting seeds either. So it is what it is, man.
I hear you. I hear you.
I love all this stuff.
I love it. I'm glad that you're here to talk about it today. Tell me a little bit about this siege. I got hijacked that episode from your show.
So see, I gotta find the thing. I have a whole write up on it.
And if you need to take over the screen, just let me know.
Yeah,
I opened that up already.
if I can find it. Hmm.
In the meantime, guys, make sure you check us out at paranoidradio.com and check out Flavors of the Forest. So you season your meat before you eat. What it is, you may ask. It is Bigfoot grazing on a bunch of garlic dust that he cultivated himself. He mixes it up, and you could put it on your meat, on your spaghetti, on your meatballs, and tacos, and on everything. I put it on my pupusas. Make sure you check us out, guys. Oh, yeah.
So okay, so the siege of Hanobia, basically the terrifying. It's a Sasquatch encounter that in essence defies all logic, right? It's
Whoa.
kind of crazy. So it stands as one of the most chilling uh and well documented accounts of alleged, and I'll say that, alleged
Mm,
Sasquatch encounters in modern history. Uh it took place in a remote wilderness of Hanobia, Oklahoma, which is, there's a couple research projects out there. So I think it's Project X or I can't remember the name of the one, but in the early 2000s, now this is a multi-night ordeal, which
mm,
involved a family living in a secluded cabin. Um, and they claimed to be besieged by a group of large hominid creatures believed to be Sasquatches, right?
mm.
Um, and everything from eerie sounds to guttural growls, unrelenting knocks and bangs on the walls, rocks being thrown, rolling down the roof, all this stuff.
Mm,
Sightings of glowing eyes in the dark woods, which you don't always
mm,
hear about with Sasquatch stuff.
mm,
Uh, and basically the family armed themselves and in a desperate attempt to defend their home, you know, and yeah, and like, what are you gonna, you're just gonna piss them off probably at the end of the day. So as everything escalated, um, it escalated, and they were tearing the Sasquatches were tearing fences down, throwing bigger objects.
mm.
Um, and it was all coordinated. That's the thing that was kind of crazy about the whole situation. Um, coordinated. So I mean, it kind of talks to the intelligence and what about the intentions of, like, what's the point, right? What are they
Mm.
going to get out of this? And the events. There was tons of physical evidence.
Wow.
numerous eyewitness accounts. Obviously, you had the whole family, right? And it's one of those cornerstones of Sasquatch lore at this point. I mean, like unsettling questions about like our like humanity's place in the wilderness and what truly resides in those little shadowy corners of the world, right?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think they are, bro? I've
Um,
had
so how many you've probably asked this question a million times, right?
I've had a couple of recent Bigfoot people. Bigfoot Bites, she's amazing, off of Florida.
Yep.
I've had Cryptid Warfare recently. Drewski came on, and
Drewski came on.
oh man, Drewski he blew it out of the water with the intense stories that he has. And then we've recently had another one called Mysterious Planet, which is dropping tonight. Actually, I'm supposed to go edit that right now. And they all gave me different thoughts of what they were. Some were interdimensional frequencies. What's it called? Bigfoot Bites thinks that they are military operations and they are created by the military. So
Right.
it's insane out there. The amount of things that it almost, and that's why people think we're crazy.
Yeah. Well, bottom line is none of us know shit. I mean, we have our experiences, right? And I've had multiple experiences with a entity or a Sasquatch that was it was right there, right? And I've never had any like woo-wooey stuff directly linked with what I've dealt with. Now I've had two encounters that they were they were kind of like bluff charges, is what I would call them.
Okay.
And then I've had and they were on the verge of being a Class A sighting because I could see silhouette. I couldn't give you color. I couldn't give you, like they didn't have glowing eyes. It wasn't anything like that, but there was, so this is where I get hung up with all two of my encounters, those first two, one when I was about 11 and then the other one I was in the Marine Corps and in Alaska. Both of those involved smell. So just the stinky, skunky trash, like decomp, like sweet funk of, and that's pretty prevalent in a lot of sightings. So I've had that. One of those was in Illinois. The other one was in Alaska. The other more close encounter that we've had some things where we had vocalizations and rocks thrown at us in California, in the Los Padres National Forest. That was, no direct sightings though or anything, but, and then in Pennsylvania, we've had some insane vocalizations, like the textbook howl, right? But you could feel it. Okay. So just insane. So I'm on the side of, I'm not committed. That's the side I'm on. But I won't go there because I know my ego's not big. I just don't think I have it figured out, and I'm not, because as soon as I start heading down that road where, oh yeah, it's flesh and blood, then I hear stories about, like Scott Carpenter and guys like that, and there's a few folks out there that have these, it's on more supernatural, spiritual type.
You
stuff.
believe in them, but do you think it's more? So you're more of a debunker then? You think it's?
I honestly just won't commit to what it is. I'm open to all of it. I'm open to it being flesh and bone. I'm also saying that maybe they've got some interdimensionality to them. I also have seen some pretty compelling videos of like cloaked type things, like Predator, straight up like Predator. And then within, you know, you would also get knocks and whoops with those things, but who knows? We don't really know. It could be like, you know, she was saying it could be something that's got to do with the military. It could be, you know, an army of Sasquatches and dogmen that are, you know, getting ready to be the beasts of the earth. Very biblical, right?
Very biblical. Yeah.
So I'm open to all of it. And a lot of people get pissed because I won't choose, but I'm just not gonna. That's it. I know that they exist because the probability of it is there's a girl who just literally today, she's on Instagram, and it's Sasquatch Data, I think is her thing. She's got this great website. You guys got to go check it out. And along with the Bigfoot mapping project, and for some reason his name is escaping me, but I just had an interview with him a little while ago, and he was saying, bottom line is he has like 15,000 uh sightings on his website. And the bottom line is it only takes one. One of those 15,000 has to be true. And there you have it. Right? So
Yeah.
you're probably, and this is what her data from what I absorbed a little bit, because I'm, you know, you're 6 times more likely to get hit by lightning than to have a chance encounter with like one of these beings, right? Like
That is.
it's actually insane. It's like 1 in like 98,000 that you guys have to check it out. It's just
Hashtag look it
probability
up.
that they have to exist. But in what form that is, I don't know. Maybe they're Nephilim for all we know. You know,
That's another one. I feel
Nephilim adjacent.
I feel your I feel it's not the pain I want to say. I connect with what you're saying. I belong to this community of conspiracy theorists. And I just found out recently that there is a mob. And I'm not going to mention their names because they might just want to come and shut me down. But there is a mob behind the conspiracy podcast community and gatekeepers.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is why that little spat that we had earlier on in one of our groups, that again, I apologize for that incident.
No worries, man.
Bro, I found out that there is a mob somewhere that's gatekeeping stuff, and there is connections with other people that, you know, that unfortunate, they make the whole scenario unfortunate for many of us that are not part of the mob life, I guess, right?
Right.
The factions. But there's this faction of flat earthers, very powerful fucking faction. And the guys, dude, I swear to God, I've seen. Now, the reason why it makes me, I touched 2 different things. The first thing is why I connect with it. It's because I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a globe earther. I'm going to entertain both ideas. And
Correct.
I think the earth is what you make it to be. You know what? What I do know is I wake up every single day like a human being. I fart, I eat, I shit, I shower, I go to work, and I only control where my 2 feet lay. I don't control how fast the earth is rotating around the freaking stellar sun. But
if it even is.
If it even is, right? I think I know there's a God because I can feel it. And now I feel more powerful than ever. I mean, in my own consciousness, not powerful over people,
absolutely.
obviously. However, and then you have these factions, dangerous factions, that I don't want to say too much, but it's dangerous world everywhere you see. There's elites in every corner.
Yeah,
and you're
of
like,
course.
what the fuck? I thought we're talking shit about the elites. No, I've had one of my closest friends. His name is JB from Ronewood Media, and he retired himself from a podcast called The Fail Academy. And he had a flat earther on. It's a very famous flat earther, probably the most famous flat earther of all time. And And he had him on, and they went tit for tat, and it was kind of more of a debate. Why am I telling you this story? And I'm not gonna mention his name because I know the guy too. He's okay. He's an okay human being. They had this debate where, okay, the dude defending flat Earth was not able to rebuttal. So what happened was my buddy posted published the podcast, and he edited. I think it was a small portion that he edited, and then the other guy got so pissed off, bro, and he had a swarm of people making it almost impossible, blackballed, and had that dude on a list, his IP address, his address for his house. I was like, what, bro? You have to get rid of your entire freaking Wi-Fi, the router.
Yeah.
Get rid of the laptop, bro.
Right.
Change every light bulb. I don't know why, but just change every light bulb. But you never know, bro. I'm a conspiracy theorist, bro.
Yeah, no, I am too, man. I hear you. I hear you for sure.
Yeah, man.
I just don't. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, go ahead. Let me know.
I just don't get why we all can't just get we all just can't get along, man. Like we're all trying to okay, I understand people so there's money involved here. There is.
Yeah.
There's money in this niche. There's money in every niche. There's money in underwater basket weaving too, right? So but at the bottom of it all, it comes down to a lot of people become gatekeepers, and I just don't get it. I won't do it. I won't play the game. I mean, I'm forced to play the game sometimes, but I'm a non-committal game player, and people will be like, you're milquetoast, you're this, you're that. But at the bottom of it all, I'm here. The only thing that I can control is me. I can control what comes in and out of this. I can, raise my kids. I have 4 daughters, by the way. You have, I have 4. There's some karmic bullshit.
Yeah.
And she's a vengeful, and karma's a vengeful bitch, by the way. But
I bet.
But I love them. But I'll never be homeless, I guess, as long as they love their dad. But the bottom line is, it's like we don't need to fight over this. There's enough for everybody, right? And yeah, it's all cliche and it's whatever. But the bottom line is we're humans, and we don't really know anything, because as soon as you think you know, something immediately changes, right? So all you can do is know what you know. You can believe you know certain things, but you have to be open to other people's ideas. Otherwise, it's one of those things where if you're not open to growth, then why are you even in this business? This whole business is about growth, right? And so if you're not in it to grow and absorb all this information, and yeah, some of it's crazy and it sounds crazy, but so does an upright freaking bipedal ape walking through Pennsylvania, right? I mean, and I know that exists. I don't care what people say. I know the experiences I've had. I mean, I'm a trained observer. There's all these things. I could list my resume. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I say, or if, whatever. It just matters what I believe at the end of the day. And you either choose to think I'm a trustworthy person when I give you my account, or I'm not. And to argue over it, though, doesn't make sense to me. Especially about flat Earth, because none of you know. I mean, and we can be like, oh, we never landed on the moon. There's no sun. There's no moon. There's no planets. There's none of this. Unless you've been out there, how do you actually know? Because I know an astronaut who has told me that they've been outside the Earth's atmosphere. So I don't know what to tell you. This is a guy that I would trust with my life. So am I supposed to discount his saying that?
Yeah.
Maybe he's lying to me. Okay. But I can't prove. I can't say that. I can be like, oh, dude, you're a liar. Oh, dude, you're this guy screwed me over. This guy, whatever. All you have is what you've experienced. And That's my opinion.
That's like saying that one lady that got, or that one dude that got UFO abducted and his butthole prolapsed and whatever.
Yeah.
He lost time. He aged different. He came back. He went cuckoo, and all this other stuff in all the elements, right?
Right.
You can't discredit this person. That's his experience, or his or hers, or whatever pronoun they want to use now.
Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, I mean, who are you to say it didn't happen to somebody? I mean, unless you can show no, it didn't. Here you are sitting in this chair, right? And when you said you got abducted by aliens, you were just sitting there in a chair, and we have it on camera, right? So, but then what is that to say that it didn't happen? We can go down so many rabbit holes with that. So I try not to play the games. I'm smart enough to know that I'm smart enough that I don't know shit.
That's a good one. Ooh. I think
So-
what was it? I'm a retard. What was the freaking dude that Nephilim Death Squad
Oh,
said?
Nephilim, no, they're dangerous retards.
Danger. I love it, dog.
They
I
are.
love it.
They absolutely are, and so am I. Period.
Dangerous retards.
Dangerous retards.
Current events. I see that the conversation's kind of starting to flow already.
Yeah.
I need to get some on current events, bro. What the heck, dude? And I'm gonna talk about this. By the time this episode comes out, I would probably already have talked about it with Flash for Flashy_News1. Mad shout outs to my brother. But you are a veteran. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
thank
have to
you.
ask you
My
this
pleasure.
question. Do you think the whole leak of the conversation with Hexeth and the cabinet talking about how they're gonna bomb Yemen, do you think that was accidental?
I mean, probably
You
not.
don't think it's the word maybe that I'm trying to say? Do you? This is the right question I wanted to ask. Do you think it was probably a military operation, some propaganda?
Oh, for what, the whole Yemen thing, or
That
just
stupid-
that?
Just that, the texts. You know how they found the text through
Oh,
Signal?
Yeah. I mean, dude, stuff like that happens all the time.
Really?
I mean,
Bro.
seriously, like I mean, people think that also those secure message things, they're just not. I mean, they're really not. I don't Signal, what's the other one? Telegram. I mean, allegedly they're locked up, but I don't know the technology behind it, and there's a whole lot of leaks happening off of this stuff, right? All the time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the stuff in Yemen. So with Hegseth, what happened exactly with the?
They had somebody bring in one of the I think he was Trump hating, and I'm not trying to make this into a Trump conversation, guys, but he was a Trump hating media reporter that totally hates the right, and then somebody accidentally brought him in, and his name was Covert or whatever, and blurred out, and they didn't know he was in there, and they start talking about these messages about how they're gonna bomb Yemen with specific locations, times, and names, and targets, and it seemed like it was a joke at first until those things started happening.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, the bottom line is, I think they had it planned. Of course, they had it planned. Bottom line is, Yemen is shut down. I mean, I'm not, as a military veteran and somebody that spent time in the Middle East. The bottom line is that where Yemen sits geographically, right? It controls, or they have one side of the entry to the Red Sea, right? They control it. And they've effectively shut down shipping to go through the whole Suez Canal. I mean, people know all this. And they've attacked U.S. naval boats. Our last administration would not fire back. They did, but it was limited. It was weird. It was like, oh, we're gonna make the show, but we're not gonna actually deal with the problems, right? So when it comes to the bombings in Yemen and the strikes that we made, we were attacking the Houthis where they live and trying to free up that trade route again. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's what I see strategically.
You think it's a lot more basic then? It's not
I do.
really.
I don't think it's this big conspiracy thing. I don't. I'm trying to show like signal chat showing Hegseth's detailed tech. Of course, he's the Secretary of Defense. What do you think he does?
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was talking to he was an airman, and we spoke briefly today about this. His name is Jim, and he goes, "What the fuck?" He got pissed. He looked at the TV. He's an electrician, and he goes, "What the fuck, yo? What do you think they're doing? Of course they're gonna have a plan. How do you think we do this stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Like,
you
I
don't go
come in
into
the
war
moon.
without a plan.
Yeah, you like, come on, bro." And I was like, I'm like, what? Just because it's public? Shit, I don't give a fuck. And then he starts getting really, really touchy. But it's true. You're setting up a plan. How do you think these things get ran or done, right? You have to set up a plan in
Yeah.
writing, regardless of the freaking of the words. They used foul language and discriminatory terms. And shut the front door, bro. You,
I mean, the bottom line is like, so I'm reading part of this that's on the AP, and like top military official was not included in the chat. Well, that is the okay. So our military leaders technically are civilians, right? And that's by design. And at the end of the day, chat was also notable for who it excluded. The only military attendee of the principals committee, right? The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Well, who else needs to be there? Do you not understand how government functions? Obviously not. Like, I mean, like I'm
they
saying
just
to people,
want.
people that are getting twisted about it, you obviously don't know anything. Again, something else you don't know shit about. So, I mean, I'll steal a when it comes to
That's the
stuff
name
like
of the
this,
show, by the way. You don't know shit.
you don't know shit about
Yeah.
anything. Bottom line, and I'll steal a freaking term that oh god, tinfoil hat. What's his name?
Sam Trip.
Sam uses all the time. I'll go hard in the paint on stuff like this. Like it's just like don't be stupid, folks. Like yes, of course they had a plan. Yes, of course nobody knew because why? Why would you tell anyone? Well, there's still I'm going to be honest, there's still parts of this administration or parts of the government that would probably get on a phone and call the Houthi freaking rebels and be like, "Hey, we're going to bomb you here, here and here." Because I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, that exists within our government.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So this isn't even about the United States. This is about the world. How much oil and people will complain about this stuff, but you're the one buying all the cell phones and filling your car with gas and buying all the clothes. And where do you think the shit comes from? It doesn't come from here. And if you don't want it to be more expensive, then people like the Houthi rebels need to go away. Yeah, they're freedom fighters for somebody, right? But what the hell are you attacking the rest of the world and the shipping for? I mean, because you're trying to prove a point, right? You're trying to get attention. You're trying to cause chaos at the behest of, let's be honest, of a certain Middle Eastern country that has 4 letters in its name. I don't really want to say it, but people can figure it out. Because they're our main they are our main opposition when it comes to these things. They're not even ours. They're the world's main opposition when it comes to certain aspects of this, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, man. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. You want to talk about crazy stuff. Do you know? So I'll ask you the question. Now, how much about the military do you know?
Very minimal.
Okay, so you have unit sizes, right? So you have the smallest unit size that usually goes anywhere, does anything is what you would call a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is about 120 to 150 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ish, guys and gals. But one of the next tier up is what you would call a battalion. And
Mm-hmm.
that's somewhere between 4 and 600 folks, depending on the service, depending on whatever, right? So right now, as we speak, you and I, there is a battalion of United States infantry soldiers sitting on the border between Egypt and Israel. Nobody knows that. Very few people know that.
Holy
But
crap.
but not even us. So there is an entire so from a battalion you go up to a brigade or a regiment, depending if you're Marines, Army, which is 1,000 or so folks, 1,000 to 2,000 folks.
Mm-hmm.
There's an entire brigade sitting across. If you think and you look at the map and you see the Sinai Peninsula, and there is a border between Israel and Egypt. Right there, the top left-hand corner is Gaza, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are troops, infantry troops sitting on that border right there. There's a battalion of Americans. There's a battalion of Colombians.
What?
There is also a battalion of Fijians. Who's like, wait, Fiji has an army? Yes, they do. So, plus a whole bunch of other countries as part of a peacekeeping operation called the Multinational Force and Observers. And there's somewhere between 2 to 3,000 people there with the sole purpose of watching the Israelis and to make sure they don't do anything crazy, and the Egyptians to make sure they don't do anything crazy.
Word.
Some people would say that's a conspiracy, but it's not. It's there right now as we speak, period. Hungarians, Norwegians, Uruguayans, but this is the type of stuff that cracks open conspiracies all over the place. The fact that we were before 9/11 doing, military dog and pony and training missions to Uzbekistan to the run up to 9/11 and our invasion of Afghanistan. That would kind of pique some interest for people. So that we had an entire company of infantry in Uzbekistan, which is the country that we basically invaded Afghanistan from, directly north, doing training stuff with the Uzbeks, the Uzbek army in 1999 and 2000.
Huh. Premeditated. Seems
Or
like.
whatever. Call it what you want. Could it be coincidence?
That's
You know
an
what I
illegal
mean?
term.
Yeah.
That's against my religion.
Right.
Yeah.
So, also with that being said, like we spent this time. So I was in Egypt during 9/11. And once though, we went on alert, we were, batten down all the hatches and everything. And within days, we had protesters. Why? We didn't do anything. We're here. You guys are like, 19 hijackers, attacked us. Why are we getting protests at our gate? What the hell's that all about? It's weird. So these are the things. These are all those things. Like you can go down these rabbit holes forever. It's unreal. And I know
There is.
I
Go
know
ahead.
entirely. I know, just like I said to you earlier in the email, I know enough to make things dangerous for myself and others. I just, and that's why I can't just stick in one niche. I get sucked into these rabbit holes all the time.
You are. I have to bring now that we finally, because as soon as we started the episode, we bounced around, and I think it's a good introduction episode to who and what you do on your show. And next time you come around, and hopefully you're down, we got to get more into the most dangerous stuff. If you're open to it, obviously,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
your
yeah,
permission.
for sure.
Because I'm really interested in that stuff. I've always said this on the show. There's a lot more than meets the eye, guys. And freedom isn't free. You have your Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
you have your Stockholm syndrome, you have your freaking iPhones, you have how many TVs at your house, guys? That you guys have all these
right.
channels. You guys have more than 300. You have commercials dedicated for families and women to get over 300 channels on TV. I don't know who has cable nowadays, by the way, but still, you have over
Yeah, I sure don't.
200 streaming apps. You see how much abundance you have, but you're bitching about us having military places out there protecting the abundance that you use every single day.
First world
I
problems, baby.
I feel like we don't count our blessings enough, and we're some of us, and I'm not saying us because I'm one of you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm saying because we don't count our blessings and we're overprivileged
Well,
in
people
many
get
areas.
what I like to call, and some lawyer made it very popular, but the term affluenza is
Whoa.
is is pretty telling to me. You
Mhm.
know, we have in this country affluenza.
Describe this to me.
It's being too affluent, meaning we have too much money. We have too. I mean, you realize like the majority of our country we are every single person, even the folks on the poorest of our poor, are still in the top 1% of the
That's
world
insane.
when it comes to. And I'm not saying all of them, the poor, the poor, the poor. Trust me, I had not a good childhood. I was not that. I was not in an affluent home, by any stretch of the imagination. But at the end of the day, uh, we are on average the top 1% of so everyone screaming with their fists up, about the man and the 1%, dude, you are. And I people, and I get shouted down so often. It's fine. you know I just know that I'm right when it comes to that stuff. I also know that, we talk about conspiracies, and how about, the conspiracy on black and brown people through the whole freaking 90s, putting in 2 generations of men in jail for what? Smoking dope,
Some of them are
bro?
still in there.
You know what I'm
For a
saying?
little weed. Yeah.
Like, that's a conspiracy. That's the conspiracy that people should be worried about. And guess what? You should hold all those people accountable that do that shit. And
Mhm.
yes, your president, Joe Biden, your president, Barack Obama, these are all guys that they supported that shit. And the Democrats and the Republicans, whatever.
Mhm.
This is a class war. It's not a political war. This is all theater, my friend. And I think you know that. I think a lot of us know that. I'm gonna start to go getting a little
You're
hard and
getting up, about to
pissy.
go crazy.
Nah, but it's just, this is my thoughts. I've analyzed this stuff. I'm not some, spring chicken that doesn't read, and I don't do my, I've lived a lot of life, man. Been a cop. I've seen both sides of this shit. Period. And I am not built to be a cop, by the way. Just not.
Mhm.
I'd be in jail, frankly. So I've also been a mental health professional with the VA, helping homeless folks from this and that and the other thing. So I've seen all this shit. And yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole with mental illness and what that is. I can just say I think a lot of it's biblical. That's what I'm saying. I think
Well,
there's a lot of
before we
spiritual
end,
warfare.
spiritual warfare. Bro, you are going my way. I've said this, countless times. Guys, you could look at any conspiracy theory, and at the end of the day, like my boy says, Bennett, you said it perfectly today, 8 times. I almost counted them. At the end of the day, the bottom line is it comes back to being spiritual, bro. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I believe that with my heart now too.
Yeah, absolutely. I fought it for years. And it's just, I always come back, you know, and it's the only thing that overwhelmingly to me makes sense. So
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, man. And right now, you know, one of his, the enemy is in control of the earth right now. That's it. You know, there's so much influence and people invite it right in, man. They just
Oh, yeah.
invite it in. And as a lot of our, you know, friends in the podcasting space say, whether it's, you know, Merkel or Nephilim Death Squad, it's a consent. And if you consent to that shit in your life, you're consenting to them controlling it too. So
I hear you. I hear you 100%. We were talking about that last night. But dude, we're up to the mark of this show. And I had a real chill time. I think
yeah.
during my last episode this week, thank God. I'm not complaining, guys. I'm not complaining, but I've recorded a lot this week, and
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
man, it goes through batches, right?
it goes through batches, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then I'll have an arsenal of episodes because if I want to go on vacation, I can't record while I'm on vacation. So
Right,
I have
right.
to leave something posting, right?
Nor should you. Nor should you.
But I love what you do, bro. Thank you for being so chill, so laid back.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You brought some balance to the force today. You got some good knowledge in here. You gave me a nugget on that, the siege, and I got to look at that up. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on it and then a whole entire episode. I'm trying to prep some more episodes, and I want to have you back on the show very soon, bro. I'm gonna hit you up once this
whenever,
episode
man.
comes up. Yeah, man.
I'm always available, my friend.
Love it, bro. And again,
We'll have to get you on my podcast too.
dude, I am a screamer, and I am one of these. When I'm energized, I'm a freaking energizer bunny, bro. Thank you so much for being on the show today, bro. Let them know where they can find you one more time.
Again, Broadcasting Seeds podcast. We've got, you know, I'm on all the socials, and yeah, if you look me up in Google, Bennett Tanton, on like the first 3 pages. So yeah, that's it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check them out. Check out paranoidradio.com. And also, do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, because that allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace out. Woo!